Hello, welcome back to 5 Minute Friday. Today we were talking about high frequency word instruction and the five misunderstandings that come along with all that. So far we've talked about how important listening comprehension is, phonemic awareness, and phonics. And this week we're jumping into high frequency words. All right, misunderstanding number one. Sight words are the same as high frequency words, and they're not. Instead, think about it like this. All high frequency words can be sight words, but not all sight words are high frequency words. It's kind of the whole a square is a rectangle, but not all rectangles can be, but not every rectangle can be a square, right? So that whole, that kind of idea. And the big difference when I try and break these down is high frequency words are words that we see all over the place in text. There's a list of 109 words that make up 50% of the words in text that our kids are reading. So those are just words that we see all the time. Sight words are any type of word that's stored in our brains in a way that we can read it really quickly. For expert readers like ourselves, almost all words are sight words. But for a kid, like Superman could be a sight word, or I don't know, Minecraft could be a sight word. It's not from a specific list. It's words that they know and they know well and they know quickly. So here's your nice list. I'll add that's right next to where you clicked on this video. Next, misunderstanding number two. High frequency words can't be decoded. In reality, all words have some degree of decodability. So by working with students by matching up sounds and letters, that sound to spelling alignment is really what helps with the decoding part of these different words. So you've got a list here of some completely regular high frequency words. These things are not crazy in any way. They follow rules, they follow patterns. It could be that your students haven't learned those patterns yet, which is why they might be more difficult for them. But they do suggest if you are introducing certain regular high frequency words as words to work on, that introducing them when they make sense with your phonics lesson. So it could be something as simple as you're working on the letter Y, and you can introduce yes, because that goes into the reliable sounds of that the Y make. Fast, you might do it when you're talking about short A. So ways to get regular words matching with your phonics. But then looking at other lists of high frequency words, there are parts that are decodable. So if you're looking at Ben, the B and the N, those parts are reliable. The middle part is what isn't, right? So it's being able to look at what part is and what part isn't, and bringing and to discussing that with the students and decide and coming out to that together. And then again, that sound to spelling alignment or the mapping can really help with similar words. So if you're working on how the sound of was, how that maps out, that's going to help when they learn want and wash. The same, if you're working on should, it's going to help when they work on could and would. And another thing they discuss in this chapter is about not wanting to let kids sound out sight words. They have to know it in an instant, but let them sound it out and figure out what parts match with what they know. Think about what's happening in the sentence around it, and as they're learning them, that's gonna be helpful for them. All right, next, misunderstanding number three. Children just need to memorize irregularly spelled high-frequency words as whole units. We don't even do this. We don't actually memorize it in whole words. Research shows that it's actually the locked-in memories of sounds and their corresponding letter order that make it look like we've memorized these words. We scan letters and we check it against sound and meaning. So if you look at some of these examples I've listed here, that's what we're doing. You scan and you look at the different sounds. You don't memorize inference and interference as a big whole chunk. You are actually scanning throughout the whole word. And when kids are learning words like this, it's so important that they're matching that sound to the letters, and that is what helps them. It's critical in helping those in seeing how those align to help them read and write those words. Number four, the best way to learn high frequency words is practice reading, writing, chanting over and over and over and over and over again. But really, orthographic mapping is the key to it. So matching those phonemes or the sounds to the graphemes is what locks it in their memory. So you can kind of look at how And there's ways to do this with students we'll talk about next week, but taking a word, breaking it apart into sounds, the A, taking it apart by spelling, you've got 4 different letters, even though there's 2 sounds, and then matching the th actually goes with the th, the a goes with the ey, and matching those parts up is what helps lock that into their brains. And then the last one is if you can read a word, you know it. And really, children go through phases until a word becomes a sight word. Um, it's a sight word once it's automatic. It takes many children around 10 encounters to learn a word, but if a student has difficulty, it's going to be many, many more than that. And just thinking about every encounter with a word is an opportunity to strengthen all those connections that we've been talking about. The kind of the different phases. I don't know how to say this guy's name. Aries, what I'm going with. But these are the 5 different phases that they go through. And the examples that they give us is in that pre-alphabetic, for example. It's like, hey, they see the sign library. That's a library because they know it's a library. They look at a picture and see the first letter of the word library and it says, that says library. The next one, full alphabetic. They see the word library in a text. They work across it. They go across all the sounds, chunking it out. Consolidated is when they're doing it more in blending chunks. So you've got like library. And then automatic is they see the word library, they process it without a beat and move right on. So it takes a while and it takes time to get there. All right, guys, next week we'll be going a little bit more into recommendations about what this looks like and how we can work on sight words in our classroom. Have a good